Hi everyone, today we're going to look at how to build a self-powered shark scenery piece in Open Roller Coaster Tycoon 2. This is a pretty quick and easy hack that can add a little bit of interest to an otherwise bland water section of your park. You can also use this hack to make other kinds of self-running scenery pieces besides just sharks, of course, but that is what we will use here as our starting point. Before we begin, you will want to get the Ride Vehicle Editor plugin made by Bassi. If you don't already have it, there will be a link to that in the description below. It is one of the best plugins for OpenRCT2, must have in my opinion. Aside from that, we'll need one cheat enabled, and that will be the allow arbitrary ride type changes cheat, which we'll be using a little bit later on. Alright, let's start by building our track layout here. I'm going to be using the corkscrew roller coaster, and we'll see why in just a minute. But we're going to go ahead and just build some circuit. It really doesn't matter what you use, what features the circuit has. If you want to put in any inclines, loops, whatever you like, it's all entirely up to you. Alright, now that we have our circuit here, we're going to get our trains here. We're going to do one train and 2 cars per train. And now, obviously we don't have a chain lift on this, so when we test it, it's gonna slowly make its way to the first hill and come back. Not very exciting, not what we want to have happen. But the way we're going to get around this is by using the Ride Vehicle Editor plugin. And we're going to change the first vehicle to a powered vehicle. In this case, I'm going to use the sports cars that come from the car ride. And now you can see that now that it is powered, it is going to be able to pull the rest of the train behind it up the hill. Now the corkscrew train, according to the vehicle editor, it's got 3 vehicles, even though we only selected 2 cars in the ride window. And that's because the corkscrew train has a third vehicle, which is the 2 tiny wheels on the very back that you can see just barely. But we're going to go ahead and change our second and third vehicles into something else, and I'm going to use the Great White Shark trains for this example. And I'm going to set the variant accordingly. We're going to use variant 2 for the back, variant 0 for the front. So they can see we have our shark that is being pulled around by our sports car. Alright, let's close our ride here so that the train doesn't dispatch the station again, so we can finish making tweaks. You can see that the second and third cars are pretty close to each other, so we'll want to adjust the spacing here. And also we don't want to see the sports car. So we'll change that to variant 1, which will make the sports car disappear. And we will also edit the track progress of vehicle 3 to pull it back behind vehicle 1, just a couple notches, so that it's not quite clipping into it. And if we go ahead and test again, we'll now see our shark moving through the layout all on its own. Now, if you'd like to make this vehicle go through your layout a little bit faster, which I'm sure you would, we will have to adjust the maximum speed of vehicle 1, and that's going to affect how fast the sports car goes. And with the vehicle editor, we can make it go pretty much as fast as we like. We can crank this thing up pretty high, depending on how fast we want our shark to swim. And if we set it all the way to maximum, I don't know, how fast does this thing go? It goes pretty fast, it turns out. 255 is probably a little bit too fast, so maybe a little bit more realistic speed will be something in the 30s to 50s range. Now the final thing we need to do is just hide our track, and I'm going to do that by changing the ride type to, let's go with Cricket House. That's a pretty simple one. And we'll also change our station style to no entrance. And now we just have our shark happily swimming around the landscape here. Now, obviously we don't want a shark swimming around on the train, so if I were doing this in a real plot, I would pull up some water here. There we go. That's probably going to be good enough for now. It's still clipping through the terrain a little bit, but we probably should have built the circuit after we made the lake, but you get the idea at least. Now, obviously, Shark isn't the only train type that works for this. There are a couple other good options from the Wacky Worlds expansions that work pretty well. If we go through our Corkscrew Coaster options, there's quite a few interesting ones, like the Seal trains and the Conger Eel trains would probably work pretty well for more underwater scene pieces. There are also a couple like the Condor trains that you could use for flying scenery pieces, but the possibilities are endless, so play around with different train types and see what you like. I hope you found this video helpful. If there's something else you'd like to see, let me know in the comments.